I'm going to do an insight video today, and I'm going to talk about sort of like self-realization, creation, consciousness, and how this all relates to us as spiritual beings, and how we sort of like relate to consciousness, relate to our soul or infinite self. And self-realization is the understanding that already everything you wish to be. You already are. But it's also the understanding that each and every one of us is born through source energy, and each and every one of us focused ourselves, made a choice in this reality at this time in this age, um, to come like as a soul to carnate within this reality, and sort of like making a choice through consciousness and through source in this reality in this time is also the understanding that each and every one of us are creators. Each and every one of us are born from source. Each and every one of our essence is source. Source is creation. Source is energy. It's vibration. It's frequency. And it's the understanding through self-realization and self-mastery that each and every one of us is not limited. We're infinite. We have infinite ability to access infinite frequencies, infinite consciousness, because source is everything in creation. Is everything, everything everywhere. It's all multi-dimensional experience, multi-dimensional reality. Source is in everything. um, for me, sort of like I was having thoughts yesterday around consciousness and creation, and I was being aligned with it. For me, it was sort of like in reality, I've always seen things, objects vibrate with energy. It's like if I look at something, it's got energy in it. It vibrates. It vibrates with a frequency. And I was thinking about this yesterday, and I was thinking about how sort of like consciousness that we always have a choice. We always have a choice for transformation. And this relates to sort of looking at an experience or a reality and seeing the energy within the moment, within the eternal moment, within the power of now, and having the understanding that actually that energy is vibrating. And with your consciousness, when you add that your consciousness to that moment, that eternal moment or that infinite moment or the power of now, it's a choice of what consciousness, what energy you apply to it, what you focus on. And when you do that, what you realize is that you are creating reality. It's coming from you, through you, and as you. It's not something that is happening to you. So you start to realize that within this moment, there's always the ability for transformation, and this is the starting point. The transformation is the understanding that you are an energy, you are a frequency, you are source energy. And once you understand this, then you understand that you have the ability within that power of now, that eternal moment, um, to add energy through consciousness, because consciousness brings energy into form, which creates reality. And it all comes down to consciousness. And consciousness and creation are one, and everything is one. That we are not separate. And again, this is a big conversation, because separation is one of the biggest things that limit us within this spiritual reality, within our reality. When we see things out there and see things happening to us, then we're living within a 3D consciousness, the out there consciousness. And the out there consciousness is seeing that external things are happening to us, that we have no control, we don't have a choice. When you step into the fourth dimension, you realize that through the dimension of transformation, that you are consciousness, you are creation, you are source. And when you can live within that moment, within that power eternal moment, and the infinite moment of the power of now, you know that all you have is here now, and you have consciousness and creation, and it's always available. It's never separate from you. And this is the wisdom of and the understanding of the infinite self, but it's also the understanding of source and what your essence is. Source creation is infinite consciousness, infinite vibration and frequency that's always available within this eternal moment. This is what source is. Source is the creation of all realities, of all dimensions, of all experience. And it's the understanding that you can express and live through this. And this is also the understanding of self-realization and self-mastery. And it says self because obviously it's talking about self, but I'm talking about the infinite self, the infinite I am, which is available to each and every one of us. The more that I live you know, and see the out there reality, the more I see my consciousness, sort of like you've got like infinite consciousness, but it's like I limit my consciousness when I live in that out there reality, seeing that something is happening to me or something out there I'm connected to or focusing on. And that's where the worry, the fear, the stress comes from. But when I live within myself and I live within source, I understand in this moment I have no worries, I have no issues. In this moment, in this infinite power of now, there is nothing to worry about, because when I remain in this moment, all there is presence, peace, harmony, consciousness, creation, and it's all available right now. And when you start to live from that place or express from that place and express source from that place, you understand then that you move from the fourth dimension of transformation, and you move into the fifth dimension, which is I see it. They say like heaven on earth, but it's really creation as well. It's the understanding that in that moment you have a choice through your consciousness to create anything that you want. And I'm not using the word manifestation because that's a word that's used many times within spiritual philosophy and spiritual. When people talk about spirituality, they talk about manifestation. So I see that we're now moving into a new expansive awareness and understanding that it's not manifestation anymore, it's creation. And it's understanding that you are a creator and you are creation. Creation is you and you are creation. And again, it's moving past that. It's moving past the understanding, like manifestation sometimes to me, when you look at it, you know, you create consciousness, you create energy within that eternal now moment, and then you're waiting for something to happen, you're waiting for it to manifest. As with the new shift and the new awareness that you are the creator, you are creation. But it's also the understanding that you're not waiting for anything, because once you've created it, it's already there. And now it's just about, again, about raising your consciousness, raising your frequency for whatever you've created within the formless realities, the formless realms, to then sort of for you to step into it. And I've talked about this before. When you're in the light consciousness and light frequency, you step into it. It's not something you're waiting for, it's something you step in and you start vibrating as. And again, this is part of self-realization. You cannot experience anything that you first have not created within yourself. But what it means by that is you need to create it within your own energy, within your own frequency. But you are a conscious created being, and there is no limits to you. You are infinite. There's everything always readily available to you. And this is the port, but this is sort of like the understanding of self-realization, but also self-mastery. We use the word self-mastery, but for me it's like self-realization. Self-realization, I prefer this word because self-realization is the realization of awareness and consciousness and frequency and understanding. And self-mastery is saying that you need to master something, when we in all reality, in all consciousness and awareness and understanding already, the first one of the first principles, or you know, this notion of self-realization, that you're everything you always wish to be, you already are. So there's nothing that you need to achieve, because you already are source energy, source consciousness, and source creation. So really, in this sort of like statement, self-realization is more aligned with that. It's more aligned with it because it's not, you're not mastering anything, you already are. It's just becoming conscious of it, being conscious of it. So like the fifth dimension talks about like heaven on earth, but what it's really saying is the frequencies and energy are available to you. They always have been. All you have to do is raise your consciousness, bring energy into form, into form, into matter, and then you create your reality, which is you create then what this notion of heaven on earth. And heaven on earth is a choice. It's a choice through vibration and frequency and consciousness, and it's always available in this eternal power of now and the eternal moment. And again, this is the understanding that each and every one of us beings are creators, and we are, you know, our souls and our infinite selves are sort of like, they incarnate within this reality with source consciousness and source creation. But you focused in, you made a choice to be here. So you also know, in your infinite self and your soul, that you know, source energy is a frequency that is you. It's not something you're trying to attain. It is who you. It is what you are. It's your infinite self. It's everything you are. And then when you start to live and express through source living and source understanding and source reality, you understand that creation is always available. There's no separation. There is no separation. Again, that's an important point, because separation is what limits us. When we separate ourselves, we separate our consciousness. we don't lower the consciousness, but it's just different frequencies. So I suppose we do lower the consciousness, but again, I don't even like the term or labels of higher and lower, because it's just one. In the oneness consciousness, there's many frequencies, and whatever frequency we're choosing, when we limit ourselves, we choose a different frequency, a frequency that is not our true self. It's not who we are. It's an expression that isn't aligned with harmony, isn't aligned with transformation and creation. It's aligned with something else, where we believe, that we're limited, that we're not as we're not crazy, we're not aligned, we're not unified, we're not in harmony. We're on another frequency. So it's the understanding that through creation and consciousness, and like self-realization is a really important, and I prefer this word, because when I see this word and I feel the energy of this word, I don't feel, it feels like a golden vibration, a golden frequency. It brings pure consciousness, pure knowledge, pure wisdom, true understanding, true expression. And this is what this time and age is about. And for me, it's sort of like when we start looking at like dimensional reality, all we're talking about is levels of consciousness, levels of levels of consciousness, levels of creation. And each and every one of us, when we start to align with our source energy, we understand nothing is limited, everything is available. And there's always a through consciousness, there's always an opportunity in the infinite eternal now moment, potential to create, and dissolve and release things, but also to expand and express within that infinite eternal moment, or the infinite power of now. Again, these are just frequencies. They carry the same vibration of source energy, like the infinite self, and the eternal moment and the eternal power of now moment are all frequencies of source. Now they're all source because they're all part of oneness, and they're all part of the oneness eternal moment, or oneness vibration, oneness frequency. But they all have a vibration of frequency, but they're all part of oneness. They're all part of source. They're all expressions of source. And this is how when you start creating, you'll feel vibrations and frequencies to statements of words, and those words and statements will bring energy into form through consciousness, but you'll feel a resonance with each of those words and those statements. And part of sort of expressing through creation and expressing through your source energy, your source vibration, is also understanding through statements and through expression and through experience what vibrations and frequencies align with you. And this is when you start to live within source, you understand the vibrations and frequencies that align with you, and you start to then express them, and you start to then create them within you to create the reality. So like you start by creating the reality within you through source expression, source vibration and frequency and consciousness, and then when you create it within you, then it obviously then creates, you step into that light, that energy, and then the reality aligns with that. So the out there reality is something that's created from you, for you, and through you, and as you. So it's just the understanding that source creation and self-realization. So self-realization is living within consciousness, it's living within frequency. It's the understanding that through source consciousness, source frequency, the eternal moment, and the eternal power of now moment, that you have a choice through consciousness and frequency to create energy, and through creation you then align your reality, your external reality, you align your physical reality with your spiritual reality, with your infinite self. And when you start doing that, you live beyond limitations, you live in the infinite potential that is available to you, always. And that there is no separation, that infinite self and that infinite source consciousness is always available. There's no separation, it's always available in this now moment. So you start to realize, the self-realization is that there is no limit and there is no separation, that you are pure consciousness, that you're pure creation, and that in that moment you always have a choice of what you create. And everything that's happening is that you're focusing on, it is creation is coming from you, through you, for you, and as you, because you are the creator. That nothing's happening outside of you, it all happens from within your own source energy, and your source energy is what's creating reality. That's the insight for today.